the guy gets up and starts walking over to my table. And he walks over to me and he put out his hand and he said, "It's been a while, sir." And I said, "Oh, it didn't click for me." And I said, "Oh, where have we met?" Which would be a normal conversation. You know, if somebody came up and they saw me in a concert 8 years ago or something and they met me at a meet and greet, that would be a normal conversation. But this is different. He says, "I was the first one on the scene that day." And I instantly knew he was talking about June 4th, 2019, the River Day.
Here's a night where I wanna be with you holding on to me. On this ride, it could rain or make it be blue skies. Either way, baby, we'll be alright. Wherever we go, I gotta know you know you're the only one I want sitting in the shotgun side on this ride.
All right. Something I'm gonna grab. Hang on, I'll be right back. Got this. Remember one of my Afghan pines that I've been growing for, I say at least a year I've been growing this tree. I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna try to put it in the woods for the first time. It'll be the guinea pig. I have 8 of them. I've been looking for spots to put them around the property. And I think the last update I did on here, I think I found a good spot where we cut down those big stumps, big trees, and it'll help kind of block, like privacy blocking. I'm gonna grab a shovel. Grab a little water in a bucket. All right, so I'm gonna fill up like a 5-gallon bucket of water. That'll kind of get it going, but these Afghan pines are super sturdy. They could handle drought, they could handle cold, they could handle heat. So I think this will be the first one in the ground. This might be information that no one else cares about right now, but an Afghan pine going to the property. They're actually used for Christmas trees, ironically. But they can grow in mountains of Afghanistan. That's where they came from, and they get really big if you let them. It just occurred to me as we were out there yesterday that if anybody builds on that back half of the property, right now it's just ranches, but if one day that property sold, then somebody could build a house right there, and that wouldn't be good. So, you know, it needs a little blockage. That's where we did our little creek yesterday. Put the rocks under there. It was good. So I preached this morning at Emmaus, our church, Psalm 130, and it was a joy, for sure. It was a joy preaching that. In fact, a little bit sad in a weird way. as I finished my prep and put all the books back on the shelf. It was like I've lived in that text, Psalm 130, for a couple weeks now, really, and it's a little sad. Like my old friends, you know, going back on the shelf, all my helpers. This is the spot I'm thinking, right here. So we have these two big stumps here that were at one time massive cedar elms. And that's not my property back there behind. That's our fence line, our back fence. So I think it would be helpful if in here I had a Afghan pine, and then, you know, maybe an oak tree, maybe some of those acorns I've been growing. I'm not worried about the Afghan pine because it's so hardy. I would be worried about the oak. I would have to actually worry about bringing water out here in the summer. Not a worry at all with the Afghan pine. I'm gonna put the camera here because it's raining now. And the camera, I do have to worry about. It's not hardy. The soil's really nice. Look at that. This has just been a forest for so long, really, until me. Until we cleared it, this has been just forest. So I think it's a good spot. Might as well go right here. Oh, it's beautiful. Oh, gorgeous. Gorgeous dirt. It's pretty stunning. All right, you people that live in the Midwest, anywhere really that's not a desert, you're like, why is he so excited about soil? Because in Texas, sometimes we get a lot of rock. You know, we don't just decide we're gonna go plant a tree. It's like, you gotta know where the rock is. That's it, really. Wow, it's like the easiest dig I've ever done out here. I think that's gonna be good. There's worms all in here. It's good stuff. It's so amazing how this land just goes through such harsh conditions and still thrives. It's because this was an ancient forest at some point. I say ancient, it's been a forest for, I'm sure, many hundreds of years. Some of these trees in here are hundreds of years old, I know. Kind of use these leaves for natural mulch, build it up. You know, I'm kind of kicking myself that it's the first time I thought of this spot. If you guys are still watching this channel, in 5 years from now, we'll be able to see how big this sucker is. That's great. Muy bien, I'm very happy. In fact, I can do another one, or I don't know. I think I might have enough confidence to put one of those oaks in here, or a cedar elm. if I could just be disciplined enough to bring it water. But the soil is excellent, so I'm not worried about that. Cool. I'm happy. Woo, it's raining. I want to tell you guys a story of something that happened recently. And by the way, I'm upholding my promise to myself. This is, I believe, I think it's day 3 in a row of giving you guys an update daily vlog. And I've done it 3 days in a row. So y'all should be happy because I'm very happy with myself. Let me put these shovels up, and then I want to tell you guys a story. And we could do the first conversation on the tailgate of the new Ranger. Do you want to get up here, Luna? Come here. Can you get up here? Can you come around? Don't knock over the camera. Okay, come here. There we go. Okay. I have a crazy story to tell you guys. Crazy story. I was at Chipotle 3 days ago with Wazinski and Maverick, and we were eating tacos. And I noticed that there was these sheriff guys sitting, our county sheriff, Williamson County Sheriff Department guys, a couple deputies sitting a couple tables over. And Maverick is watching them. One of them has a cowboy hat on. And Maverick, Maverick and country. So it's like, all the best things combining for Maverick. He's got country and he's got police officer, and they're sitting a couple tables over. Maverick's watching them. I'm watching Maverick. Maverick gets up and he goes over there to one of the officers, to the table, and he says to the guy with the cowboy hat, "You got a police car?" And I'm thinking, man, this kid is he's got nerves of steel right now, just walking up to this stranger. He says, "You got a police car?" And it kind of took the guy off guard, and he was like, "Yeah, I got a police car." And Maverick said, "Does it go fast?" And he said, "Yeah, it goes fast." And he said, "It goes real fast?" And he said, "It goes about 100 miles an hour." He's just kind of, talking to Mav. And Maverick says, "I got a police car." It's actually sitting right here. Like, it's sitting right there. There. So the guy gets up and starts walking over to my table. And he walks over to me and he put out his hand and he said, "It's been a while, sir." And I said, "Oh," it didn't click for me. And I said, "Oh, where have we met?" Which would be a normal conversation, if somebody came up and they saw me in a concert 8 years ago or something and they met me at a meet and greet, that would be a normal conversation. But this is different. He says, "I was the first one on the scene that day." And I instantly knew he was talking about June 4th, 2019, the River Day. And I said, "Oh man," I said, "I have for a long time wanted to talk to an officer that was on the scene that day." And he said, "That was me." And I said, "Man, could we get some coffee sometime? Could we chat sometime?" And he was like, yeah. I gave him my phone number. And when we left Chipotle, he texted me and he said, "Hey, if you ever want to talk, give me a call." So I was like, yeah. And then it occurred to me, a few hours later, I'm preaching at Emmaus, my church, Sunday, which was today, which was this morning. And so I texted him and I said, "Hey," as it's starting to rain, I texted him, I said, "Hey, this might be a long shot, but I'm preaching at my church Sunday. Would you come?" And he said, "Well, my wife's pregnant and she hasn't been feeling great, but but if she's feeling okay, yeah, we'd love to. And I was like, great. I gave him the address, Emmaus Church, Georgetown, Texas, 10 a.m. I'm preaching. And so yesterday, Saturday, he texted me to confirm. He says, hey, I'm coming, and I'm going to bring another officer that was on the scene that day that did CPR on River. I'm like, whoa, that's cool. I would love for us to be friends, you know. I would love for us to connect. Amber and I have talked for years about, because in our minds, because that was such a horrific event for us, I kind of blacked out a lot of the details. I can't remember faces. I can't remember much of what went down that day at the pool. And so I'm thinking this is a great opportunity to get to know these guys, to thank them, to hug them, tell them I love them, and to hear their story a little bit, you know, like enough time has gone by. What happened that day that you saw? So I go to church this morning. I preached this morning. And both the guys showed up with both their wives. And a third guy who was on the scene that day as well. So 3 officers that were called that came from, I guess, different places and came to the scene. And after I preached, of course, my message was Psalm 130. My message wasn't a testimony. I wasn't telling the story. It was glorifying God, not myself at all. So I don't know if maybe they expected that they were going to sit there and hear, you know, some kind of anything about me. It wasn't anything about me. It was about Psalm 130 and what the original author's intent was and how we can apply that to our lives. And as I've told you, I loved living in this text. It's been a joy living in the text. But maybe, I don't know if they thought that there was going to be some kind of downer to come, when in fact it was glorifying our Lord. So I talked with him afterward, and one of the guys that did CPR, he says, hey, can I talk to you for a second? Privately. Yeah, you know, we kind of pulled away from the group and walked down this hall. And he kind of opened up his heart a little bit. Some things that he has struggled with since that day. Some wrestling that he's had. I don't want to get into details. That's his private information that he gave me. But just wrestling through some things that I'm sure any kind of first responder has to deal with. And then when you come face to face with a real person from an incident, and I'm sure it's got to be a lot of different emotions happening. So I was able to stand there with him and walk through it. And hopefully, I'm hoping that's just the beginning. And, you know, my heart is that they actually become members at Emmaus. And I see them every Sunday, and they become my brothers. And, you know, we go eat, and we do things together. And I just want to say for this video, can you imagine? Only the Lord could redeem something so crazy. Could bring together 4 men. And Amber walked up to and met all their wives, all 3 of their wives. Only the Lord could redeem through of all people, through Maverick. He walked up to that table and said, "You got a police car? They go fast." And I told him right there at the church, I said, guys, this feels bigger than all of us. This feels like we're supposed to be here, and it's way bigger. And there are more details too. I don't want to reveal everything on this video. That wouldn't be appropriate. But what an incredible snapshot of who our God is. A redeeming God. A God who gathers, you know. That's incredible. So I wanted to share that. And I also wanted to say, how cool is it that we've now vlogged 4 days? Woo! Yeah! Doing good. Let me know, once again, what do you think of these little updates, these daily updates? That this is my personal goal, that I am going to, even if I don't have much to talk about, I'm going to get on here and give you guys just an update. Yeah. So Luna is going to close us out. She says, thanks for watching the video. Please like, subscribe. hit that notification bell in case you miss any of our videos, right, loons? Love y'all. Yee yee.
On this ride.